So this is the video lesson for Monday, May 4th, and today we are going to review parts of speech. Now, I know this is something that we covered already a couple weeks ago when we first started our online learning, but I just want to go through and I want to be able to review everything with you so we have a little bit of a better understanding of what it is. And also next week, when we start talking about grammar and punctuation and we start doing a little bit of writing activities, we're going to be able to use these correctly, okay? So just follow along with me, take notes, and there's always going to be some questions to follow after. But with today, Monday's lesson, and tomorrow, Tuesday's lesson, there's nothing to do after. I just want you to watch these videos, take notes, and pay close attention, all right? You know I'm not picky about note-taking. Whatever you find important, that's what I want you to record, okay? So we're going to talk about the 3 parts of speech today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to talk about the other 2 parts of speech because we're only going to cover 5, all right? And if you hear any barking or growling, that's going to be my dog, and maybe she'll make a guest appearance. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to cover is a noun. So a noun, what is it? A noun is any person, place, or thing. Okay? So I have a question. Are you a noun? Absolutely. Yes, you are. You are a noun because you're a person. Am I a noun? 100%. Because why? I'm a person. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, anybody you live with, they're a noun because they're a person. Okay? A place. A place is also a noun. A place is somewhere that has a name. So, Bristol Elementary School, is that a noun? You bet. Is Mosquito Lake a noun? Absolutely. How about Walmart? Is that a noun? For sure. But how about that tree over there? Is that a noun? Yeah, because that's a thing, all right? So a noun can also be a thing, a stove, a washing machine, this book, the whiteboard, a tree, a car, lake, rocks, a computer. Those are all nouns as long as they are objects and they have a name. That's a noun. A person has a name, they're a noun. A place has a name, that's a noun. Everything has a name, so a thing is a noun, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some examples. And I have a sentence typed up. And my sentence is, Joe was standing by the tree in front of Walmart. Okay? Listen to that sentence again. Joe was standing by the tree in front of Walmart. There are 3 nouns in that sentence. What are the 3 nouns? Listen to it again. Joe was standing by the tree in front of Walmart. Joe, isn't that the noun? That's one of the nouns. That's somebody's name. What was he doing? He was standing by a tree. That's a thing, right? A thing's a noun. In front of Walmart. Walmart is a place. That's a noun. There are 3 nouns in that sentence. Joe, tree, and Walmart. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay. Let's do another one. Let's go with Susan is a student at Bristol Elementary School. Susan is a student at Bristol Elementary School. Listen to it again. How many nouns are in that sentence? Susan is a student at Bristol Elementary School. There's 2 nouns, right? Susan, because that's a person, and Bristol Elementary School, that's a place. The reason why we are saying that student in this sentence is not a noun is because it doesn't have a title. We're already saying what Susan is. She has a name. If we referred to Susan as a student and we didn't use her name, then student would be a noun. But because we gave that noun a name already, the word student is not a noun. Now that's just something for me to explain. You're not going to be quizzed on that. It's just good to know. But the only two nouns in that sentence are Susan and student. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about verbs. A verb is the action in a sentence, okay? It's the action. It's what's happening in the sentence, okay? So it's something that's taking place. It's something that's going on. The verb is the action in the sentence. It's what the main person is doing, okay? And verbs could have three tenses. Now, we're going to talk about tenses later on. That's something that you're going to see again in the packet. In the next set of video lessons, there's past, present, and future tense. And we're going to be talking about verbs in those tenses. But we're not going to be doing it right now. Right now, I just want you to know what a verb is. So a verb is the action. It's what's happening in the sentence. So it's something that you can do. What are some things that you do? Think about it. Because what are some things that you are doing right now? Because what you are doing, that's a verb. You are watching a video lesson. What's the verb in that sentence? Watching, right? It's what you're doing. How about if you like to go out and ride your four-wheeler? If that's what you do. What's the verb? Riding, right? You're doing something. You're riding a four-wheeler. It's what you're doing. So riding is the verb. How about making lunch? That's a verb. You're making something. You're doing something. It's an action. Okay? So think about what you're doing. That's the verb right now. You're watching a video. Watching is a verb. You're doing something. You're taking notes. You're writing stuff down. Writing is a verb. You're doing something. It's the doer in the sentence. So let's look at some examples. So we have the word jump, right? Let's pay attention to that word. I'm just going to write it right here, just like as an example. Jump. It's an action. We all do it. We all know how to jump. We did it in gym class, right? So it's an action. Someone's doing it. Because the character is jumping, that's what's making it a verb. It's an action, okay? So Susan is jumping through the hoops. What's the verb? Jumping, right? She's doing it. She's jumping through the hoop. Frank will eat the cake. What's the verb? What's the verb? Let's listen to that sentence again. Frank will eat the cake. It's eat, right? It's something he's going to do. Because it's an action. He's going to do it. And again, we're going to talk about the different tenses of verbs, past, present, future. We're going to talk about the different words that make it what it is. But right now, I just want you to focus on what these parts are. Let's do one more. The dog will run after the ball. The dog will run after the ball. What's the verb in that sentence? It's run, right? The dog is doing something. That's what the dog is doing. She's running after the ball. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the last thing for this lesson, and that's an adjective. Do any of you remember what an adjective is? Do any of you remember what an adjective is? Think about what it means. We covered it a couple weeks ago in one of our first lessons. It's a descriptor. It describes a noun, okay? So I'm going to write this down, and you should be taking notes too. Remember what a noun is. Let's look up here. A noun is a person, place, or thing. An adjective is something that describes a noun. So it's something that's going to describe a person or a place or a thing. It's going to describe that to you, okay? So let's look at the example. Now we have to really pick apart the sentence here when we want to look for an adjective, okay? We need to think about what's being said in the word that's being used. So in the example, Joe is very tall. What's the adjective? Remember, an adjective describes a noun. What's the adjective? Joe is very tall in that sentence. Joe is very tall. Is it very? Can very be an adjective? No, it can't. That's something else, okay? That would be a conjunction. It could be a conjunction. But it's something that describes him. Joe is tall. So when we see Joe, when we picture him in our head, we're picturing a tall person. The word tall describes him. Therefore, tall is the adjective. It describes a noun. Joe's a noun because he's a person. He has a name. So the adjective describes him. He's tall. Walmart is a large store. That's my next sentence. Walmart is a large store. What's the adjective in this sentence? Think about it. Listen to it again. Walmart is a large store. Large, right? That's the adjective. Because it's describing the store. It's describing the size of the grocery store. Walmart, that's the noun. It's a place. It has a name. Large store. We know it's a store, but we're saying it's large. It's a description of size, okay? And then what we're going to do is the red ball. What's the adjective here? The red ball. Throw me the red ball. So what I want you to do is imagine there's a little red ball next to you. Pick it up and throw it. Pretend like you're throwing it at me. Pick up the red ball and throw it to me. What's the adjective in that sentence? Now think about it. What is a ball? That's the object. That's what the sentence is about, the ball. It's a thing, right? Isn't a thing a noun? Yeah, it is, because again, it's got a name. It's a ball. It's a thing. It's a noun. An adjective does what? It describes a noun. So, throw me the red ball. Is throw the adjective? No. What is it? What is throw? It's a verb, right? Because you're doing something. That's the action in the sentence, throw. So when I tell you to throw the ball at me, that's the verb. The adjective describes the noun. The noun is the ball. It's what the sentence is about. So something that describes the ball is its color, red. So the color red is an adjective. It describes something. So throw me the red ball. Verb, throw. Noun, me. I'm a person. Adjective, red. Red ball. Noun is also going to be a ball. That's the main noun. That's the proper. That's what the sentence is going to be about. Okay? All right. So that's going to be the end of the lesson for Monday, May 4th. There is no activity that goes along with it, just because I want you to follow along and pay attention, take notes, and review. So this way, when we start our next lesson later on in the week, it's all going to be fresh in our mind. All right? Okay, so this is posted on Google Classroom, and the next thing you are to do is watch the video lesson for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, May 5th.